Before the creation of the skies and lands, there was a void, a vast nothingness. In the void, some things would begin to take form, only to be devoured by the one who dwelt there. The name of this one is Null. Null desired the world in its entirety and consumed life indiscriminately. The three goddesses could not abide this and created the skies and the lands to contain Null. Null is one of the more interesting characters in the Zelda series, acting as the reason behind Hyrule's creation and the primary antagonist in Echoes of Wisdom. He's an evil god of destruction whose only goal is to return everything to void, and his ambitions were so successful that the golden goddesses themselves had to create an entire planet in order to imprison him. And while he only appears in one game, he is likely the most influential character in the entire Zelda series. I'm Mr. Z, and this is Zelda Discussions. Let's get into it. In the era of Echoes of Wisdom, rifts have torn apart the kingdom of Hyrule, and Zelda has to set things right. But on her adventure, Zelda is informed by the goddesses about Null's existence and how his plans to destroy all life around him caused the goddesses to create Hyrule and the planet it resides in, and that the rifts in Hyrule have all been Null tearing away at the fabric of existence. Rifts take the area of the world they touch and slowly decompose them until they're gone completely. These rifts are the gateway to the still world, the core of the planet where Null resides. But these rifts are repaired by the Tries, entities created for the sole purpose of repairing Null's tears in reality, and they have been doing this since the creation of Hyrule. Anytime a rift opens, the Tries close it through the power of echoes. They take all the stilled chunks of Hyrule and copy them back on the overworld, sealing off the rift and repairing everything to how it was. During the events of Echoes of Wisdom, Null has gotten wise and takes out the interference of his plans. He traps the Tries within dark energy spheres, as well as powerful monsters that serve to further his dark ambitions. This prevents the Tries from repairing any of the rifts, thus allowing Null to open more and more of them, expanding his eradication of his celestial prison. But he knows he cannot do it alone. He needs the Triforce, the prime energy left behind by the goddesses after creating the world. In this era of Hyrule, Null comes up with the plans and strategies to manipulate the inhabitants of Hyrule and attempts to take out the biggest threats to his goals, Link and Zelda. Null's knowledge of the hero and priestess foretold to appear in times of trouble allowed Null to know to corner Link specifically, and for him to attempt to take Zelda away too. He creates an imitation of Ganon to kidnap Zelda, driving Link to save her, and then attempts to kill them both. Null also takes the important people of Hyrule as well in order to throw their subjects into chaos without leadership, or to turn them against Null's enemies. He takes the Gerudo Advisor, the Zora's patron deity Jabu Jabu, and even the King of Hyrule himself. Null is cunning and knows who his enemies are. He targets them and uses them against the people to perpetuate his ambitions. He creates doppelgangers of the king, general, and minister of Hyrule, as well as the advisor to the Gerudo, and uses those imposters to manipulate the people. The fake king orders for Zelda's execution, and when that fails, he turns the people and military against Zelda, forcing her to go incognito. The fake Gerudo Advisor tells the Gerudo warriors that fighting off monsters will get rid of the rifts, thus working the warriors to exhaustion, taking away their ability to fight back a threat. And despite not being able to get rid of Zelda, the Priestess of Wisdom, Null still remains patient. After almost eradicating Zelda in Hyrule Castle, only for her to be saved by Link, Null immediately creates rifts, taking the three sacred temples of the goddesses to trick Zelda into going after the Triforce. And after she becomes sanctioned by all three goddesses, Null then creates a copy of Zelda's sanctioned body to gain access to the Triforce himself. Once the copy touches it, however, the Triforce splits because of fake Zelda not having a balanced heart, only gifting Null the Triforce of power. But that alone allows Null to create incredibly massive rifts, bigger than he could ever make on his own, that span almost the entire country. Null is hellbent on getting the remaining Triforce pieces, enough to even fight Link and Zelda to the death over them, but he is inevitably destroyed, ending his existence. But this is only in the Downfall timeline that this happens. Null is still alive in the child and adult timelines as well as before the split in Ocarina of Time. He still has chances to perpetuate his evil intentions outside of his eradication towards the end of the Downfall timeline. And this is where things get interesting. I don't think Null is a standalone villain who just so happens to have existed since the beginning of time. I believe he has been behind the scenes since his imprisonment. In Echoes of Wisdom, we really only see Null echo monsters and people, which may lead some to think that Null can only echo. But I disagree. Null's plan in Echoes of Wisdom involves taking away the Tries, the ones who prevent his destructive ambitions, which then allows his influence to grow and expand. And how do the Tries repair Null's rifts? Using echoes. Null has taken the Tries and uses them to echo people and monsters for his plan. And when Zelda ventures inside Null's body, we see that he has been consuming the Tries he's captured, absorbing them into his cells and bloodstream. The second phase of Null's fight has you chasing the core of his being through his bloodstream as he absorbs more and more Tries, and his echoing capabilities expand several-fold afterward. This shows that he is not able to echo without the Tries' powers. But what if I told you there was evidence of his ability to create? When Null opens a rift, all living things get turned to stone and start to decompose, including monsters. When Null obtains the Triforce of Power, his rift consumes people, animals, and some moblins, all of whom turn to stone. This shows that monsters are not echoes and are actual living things. But there are real monsters in the still world as well. Knowing that monsters from Hyrule get turned to stone when taken by rifts, plus the existence of monsters in the still world, I believe this shows that Null is able to create, and that his creations will not decompose inside of his world. This would make sense because Link and Zelda are the ones chosen by the goddesses, and they have special ordination that prevents them from decomposing in the still world. So, Null's ordination of his creations would likewise prevent them from decomposing in the still world. Given this information, I don't think that it's too far-fetched to believe that Demise, the previously established king of evil, is not the origin of the evil in Hyrule, but merely a minion to Null, the true evil mastermind of the Zelda series. One dark, fateful day, the earth cracked wide and malevolent forces rushed forth from the fissure. They mounted a brutal assault upon the surface people, driving the land into deep despair. They burnt forests to ash, choked the land's sweet springs, and murdered without hesitation. They did all of this in their lust to take the ultimate power protected by her grace, the goddess. This is the legend told to us at the beginning of Skyward Sword. It tells of the events that took place before that game at the origin of the timeline, and it points very strongly to Null. The cracks that the monsters emerged from were likely a rift from Null, and their goal was the supreme power guarded by the goddess Hylia, the Triforce. Null's objective has always been to obtain the Triforce, granting him the unlimited power to return the world to an infinite void, leaving Null and only Null. But Null could not move forward with this plan from his prison. So, to reach his ambitions of destruction, he created an army of beasts, warriors with the one goal of obtaining the Triforce for their master. But one was different, a general created with immense strength and magical capabilities, Demise. I believe that much like Hylia, Null needed a champion to combat Hylia's foretold chosen hero, so he chose Demise, the strongest of all of his creations, and the evidence for this is irrefutable. Demise shares the same hatred for the goddesses and lust for the Triforce as Null does. Furthermore, the magic Demise uses to create the battlefield he and Link fight in looks very similar to that of Null's. Wispy purple and black fog that takes one who steps in to another realm. Additionally, Hylia created the goddess sword, with Fi being the spirit of the sword, serving as a servant and partner to her chosen hero, helping to temper and improve the blade to its perfect form, the Master Sword. Much is similar with Demise in his sword. Girahim is one of the primary antagonists in Skyward Sword, but is revealed to be nothing but Demise's sword. Girahim's design is quite similar to Fi's too, having a large diamond on his clothing like Fi does, both having similar shaped hair, both having metallic features, and both are spirits of a blade for a powerful warrior. Not only this, but the Master Sword and Demise's sword look very similar to each other as well. Both hilts have a wing shape on top, and both have a Triforce embroidered on the blade, though Demise's is an inversion to Link's, and Demise's blade is jagged and black as opposed to Link's smooth white blade. Demise's blade and purpose are almost exact opposites to that of Link's. Link's sword is tempered by the 3 flames of the goddesses after fighting off Demise's servants, each tempering changing its appearance and strength. Demise's sword, Girahim, is tempered by fighting Link 3 separate times, each time him differing in physical appearance and strength. I believe that Null created Demise's sword much like Hylia created Link's. Null needed to be prepared for the forces of the goddess, so he created his own counterfeit to equal the goddess's efforts against him. But his champion Demise was defeated and sealed in the ground by the goddess Hylia. I believe that this changed Demise's view of things. His lust for destruction ended him in the same place as his master, imprisoned by beings more powerful than he. And Demise wanted to break free, but not to destroy the land in which he resides. He wanted to do to the goddess's people what was done to him. He no longer wants destruction. He yearns for domination and oppression. When Link confronts Demise, he tells Link that when Link is defeated, he must know that the world and all of its inhabitants are Demise's to dominate, his to subjugate, his to rule. He has abandoned his master's ways and wants the Triforce for his own purposes. Demise's defeat soon follows, however, and in his dying breath, he curses Hyrule to a perpetual cycle of his hatred being reborn time and time again. But this serves Null. Despite Demise turning away from his master, Null can still make use of his general's curse to manipulate the future incarnations of Demise's hatred. But Null's use of Demise's curse might explain why most every antagonist in the Zelda series is after either the entire Triforce or similar forms of power like the Zonai Secret Stones, Life Force, or the Light Force that resides in the Princesses of Hyrule. I believe that Null has been using all of Demise's reincarnation's lust for power and domination for his own ambitions. We know that Null is manipulative and cunning, so tricking his servants' reincarnations into doing his evil deeds with the supposed promise of ruling would be the obvious thing for Null to do without having to be an active role in his own plan. And Null's prison is the entire planet, not just Hyrule. And so, in addition to Demise, Null likely created Malladus as a second general in his army to destroy other parts of the world, thus explaining the backstory of New Hyrule's continent in Spirit Tracks. Now, Twilight Princess introduced an ancient magic-wielding people called the Interlopers, later known as the Twilight, who sought the Triforce in its entirety and used an incredibly powerful magical artifact known as the Fused Shadow. In the vision given to Link by the light spirit Lanayru, the Interlopers are shown to emerge from the ground in pursuit of the Triforce. I believe that the Interlopers from ancient times are a race of people created by Null, and there is plenty of evidence for this too. Both the Interlopers and mice emerged from the ground, likely from a rift created by Null. Both are strong magic wielders, and both are after the entire Triforce before the Kingdom of Hyrule was even founded. Not only this, but the Twilight have even more connections to Null than you might realize. Both use powerful magic that covers the land that it is used on, turning it into an entirely different place. This magic puts a barrier on its borders that refuses entry to all but those who are from within or know how to access its interior from its weaknesses. Additionally, this expanse of the magic kills all the living things, specifically humans and animals. Twilight is different in some ways than the Still World, however. The Twilight renders all living things as spirits, and the Still World turns all living things to stone to decompose into nothing. And Twilight doesn't seem to decompose the land it occupies. At first. There are tons of strange black particles that float around when Twilight occupies Hyrule. I believe this is the land being slowly decomposed to nothing. Proof of this lies that these particles are the same particles that burst out of the Shadow Beasts when they are killed. So I believe that both of these types of particles are one and the same. This leads me to believe that the Twilight is actually destroying Hyrule. However, it's much slower than what the Still World does. And this makes sense due to it being a race of people mimicking the magical abilities of their god. Furthermore, Twilight also functions similarly to the Still World in how Link and Zelda are affected. Link and Zelda are the chosen hero and priestess of wisdom, and the incarnations of these two characters in Twilight Princess aren't affected the same way normal people would. Zelda retains her physical body, and Link is turned into a wolf whilst in the Twilight. This is very similar to that of Link and Zelda in Echoes of Wisdom, and if I still haven't convinced you, there's still more evidence connecting the Twilight to Null. The Twilight's architecture in the Twilight Realm consists of floating islands with stalactite-like formations underneath. This is quite reminiscent to the Still World's dripping effect that occurs when the chunks of Hyrule decompose in the rifts. And keep in mind that the Twilight Realm and the Still World are two separate locations. The Still World is the center of the planet where Null resides, while the Twilight Realm is a world created by the Light Spirits to imprison the Twilight when they attempted to take the Triforce. So given that information and the idea that the Twilight are a race from the Still World, it would make sense that their culture and architecture would reflect that of their homeland. Furthermore, the Fused Shadow has some intriguing connections to Null as well. The Fused Shadow has a teal glow to it with rectangular swirls adorning it. This is quite interesting because might crystals from Echoes of Wisdom are extremely similar to the designs on the Fused Shadow. And might crystals also have extreme power when made into a weapon. And even more, the name Fused Shadow itself connects to Null's rifts. The rifts in Hyrule are dark and cover the land, so one might refer to it as a shadow. And what happens when a rift is condensed and fused together by the Tris? You're left with might crystals. These powerful gems are what's left when Null's power is condensed into one point. The might crystals themselves are the result of a shadow being fused. I strongly believe that the Fused Shadow is made from might crystals by the Twilight for the sole purpose of taking the Triforce for their master Null. And at the time of Twilight Princess, the Twilight have become a peaceful race after being imprisoned for thousands of years. However, Zant is manipulated by Ganondorf into bringing vengeance to Hyrule for the imprisonment of the Twilight. And if this theory is true, Ganondorf was being manipulated by Null to bring his lost people back into his plan. Null has been here the entire time, secretly manipulating Demise's reincarnations in the shadows, remaining patient until the day he finally gets the Triforce for himself. And since his death only came to pass in the Downfall timeline, it's only a matter of time before he makes his grand return in the other two timelines. And now, when you defeat the final boss of a Zelda game, you'll know that no matter how strong, evil, or intimidating it is, it's merely a puppet of the greatest evil mastermind in the universe. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, consider leaving a like or subscribing for more Zelda content from me. I would love to hear what you guys have to think about this. Let me know in the comments. But you guys are all appreciated and loved. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.